Turbo and 2K show.
What's up, 2K crew? It is that time of the week again, and man, oh man, we've got a great show planned for you today. But before we get into any of that, you might notice that there's one additional person on the panel here. For those of you that have been following the channel for quite some time, this is a familiar face. But if not, this is not only an avid baseball watcher, a Notre Dame enthusiast, but the head baseball coach of the Marcellus varsity baseball team. Let's give it up for Mr. Christian Hudson.
Thank you.
What's up, brother?
Standing ovation, huh?
What's up, man? Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah.
It's been too long. We're gonna have to get you in on more of these because
I haven't been on a podcast since you lived in town.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. It's been quite a while. But yeah, for all of you that are watching and listening, thank you for watching and listening wherever you're watching and listening from. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and drop a comment, because let's have a conversation, because we're coming with this is one of my favorite shows of the year, guys. It's our way too early MLB picks. Not only are we picking the division winners, the wild card winners, but also the postseason accolades as well. So let's get locked in. Let's get loaded. But before we get into that, let's get into some news. Let's get into some news, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest news of the day: Scotty Scheffler brings home the green jacket, and I don't think this was a surprise to most people. I think the most surprising thing to me was kind of the somewhat ease that he did it.
Right.
I mean, that back nine today, he was just a thing of beauty. And it seemed like everyone that was trying to contend had, at some point, either yesterday or today, a good 3-hole slide where they just couldn't get their shit together.
Well, what was it? Scheffler dropped to 5 under yesterday with like 3 holes left, and then came right back and birdie 2.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, birdie 2. Had that chip. Was it on 18 or sunk it? It's like, holy smokes, dude. Dude's legit.
Yeah. He's special. He's fun to watch, and he doesn't have, just watching the entire tournament, it seemed like about all the golfers at the top had 3, 4, 5 holes throughout the week where they kind of blew up on. He maybe had 1 hole other than that, and that's how you win tournaments like this, is just playing consistent golf, birdieing the par 5s when you can. And then, just taking your pars and moving on. Yeah. And he was able to do that and played the most consistent golf. And
must be nice.
And, he but there's nobody on the tour that can compete with that guy right now. He is
on fire,
on a different level than everybody else.
And what I thought was kind of interesting is that we saw on Thursday kind of the vast majority of the scoring, and what you could argue is the worst weather of the whole tournament.
Yeah.
But then once I started thinking that, it's like, okay, Scotty downshifts on the back 9 and drops like 3 birdies to just separate himself. And it's like, okay. And now the big question is, how many people are going to try to emulate that swing? Because it is definitely non-traditional. Mm-hmm. It is definitely a little bit out there. Is it as kind of unique as some of the other ones we've seen? No, but it's more as bottom half that you could say leaks out. But I think honestly it clears out. It clears out for his hips to clear, and next thing you know, his hands come through, and it's if you're looking at just X's and O's of it, it's a beautiful swing. Aside from that, but I think that's something I think you're going to see a lot of people at least try. That's because the easier you can get your hips through, the more power you can get through it, and that's, you're, instead of going at the green with a 7-iron, you're going at the green with a pitching wedge. So, which I've heard makes the game a lot easier.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know.
I definitely wouldn't know by experience, but yes. So kudos to him, and kudos for his wife for kind of hanging out and not having the baby, so he had to withdraw.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
that was like the main story yesterday. Is he going to finish?
Yeah, and could you imagine? Put yourself in that situation. First time dad, and you're leading the Masters going into the final day. Yes, you want to be there, but had it been his first green jacket, I don't know.
No, you should have thought about that 8 months ago.
Yeah. And enjoy it now, because now you have kids on the way. Their golf game's going to get worse and worse as we go now.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move into the. Is there any other news we need to talk about? Because I think that was pretty much the biggest news of the weekend.
Yeah, nothing.
We can kind of touch
major.
base on the whole Shohei thing.
Yeah.
The FBI came out and said that, old buddy was actually stealing.
I'm not buying it.
There's
That dude
a lot
doesn't
of-
have $40 million to spend. That's what I don't understand. Where this money? I mean, there's no way.
There's
Yeah, they're covering up Golden Boy.
yeah, there's just a little bit too much on the bone left. And
Yeah.
do I want to believe it? Yes, I really do. But is there always something in the back of my mind going, well, I don't know.
Well.
I don't know.
Like Pete Rose said, I wish I had a translator.
But yeah, that was pretty much the everything for the entire weekend. So let's get into our picks here, ladies and gents. Let's start with the American League. And do you guys want to do awards or divisions first?
Let's go divisions.
All right. Well, 2Ks, let's start off with you since you're deep style over there. Let's start off with we normally start out with the American League East, but let's start out with the West.
Say, East might be the hardest one to pick. So
Yeah.
starting with the West. Well, they've got off to a slow start this season, but it's hard to go against Houston in here. I gotta go Houston number 1. Pitching's been a little bit shaky. I think they're gonna get it figured out there. Verlander ought to be back here in the next couple of weeks, it sounds like. So I'll go with them at number 1. We're gonna go all the way down the line with it here.
No.
Just picking our winners.
Yeah, just picking the winners. Now, you realize Houston's the second worst team in the American League, right?
But it's Houston.
You realize we're 2 weeks into the season right now, and
That's why I still hold hope for my White Sox.
yeah,
2-14. Come on.
Hey, nothing but up. Nothing but up. Christian, are you in agreement with 2Ks with Houston?
No, I'm gonna go back with the defending world champions, Texas Rangers.
I'm going to side with you, Christian, but I'm going to leak it out that Houston is getting one of the wild card spots.
Okay.
yeah.
And I'm not sold that Seattle is. I like Seattle.
Their pitching,
Yeah,
man,
they're-
is really,
yeah.
really good, really good. Can that offense?
Yeah. I mean, Julio Rodriguez can only do so much.
Mhm.
And so none of you are buying the fact that the Oakland A's are one game back of the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't even care about Oakland or the Angels in this division because
Hey,
either one of them have a
One
shot.
thing though, local kid just got called up to the show for Oakland. Max Scherman from Portage Northern. Congrats to him, man.
Hell yeah.
Congrats to him.
Nice.
Definitely paid his dues on the miners bus.
Yeah, and if any one of the three of us were in his spot, I guarantee we wouldn't care what team it is.
No.
What team it is. Just let me play.
Well,
Just let me play. And on a team like that, you probably have the best chance to play right out the gate.
it's cool because Northern's got 2 big leaguers right now, and I'm not positive. I think they played on the same high school team.
No, that's cool.
Tommy Henry for Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah, he threw he went pitch for pitch with Spencer Strider last week, and he his bullpen ended up blowing it for him, but he was up 5-2 on him, and he's carving out a nice little start to his career.
Well, awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
This is why we bring Christian on the show. I had no idea.
Shout out to my boy Blake Dunn from Saugatuck. He's gonna get that call soon too, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Reds could use him in the outfield. I don't know why they aren't.
Let's move to the Central. Central is it's tied. This is actually the top 3 teams are really close: Cleveland, Kansas City, and Detroit. Then it kind of takes a drop off with Minnesota and the White Sox. So, Christian, we'll start with you. Are you taking your White Sox to win this division?
Hell no. They're bad. They're bad. One bright spot for him though is Garrett Crochet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they moved him to the starting rotation, put Kopech in the bullpen. He has been, I think he struck out 10 last night. Got beat, of course, but still struck out 10 and I think 4 and a third, something like that. He's nasty. My pick though, I like the Royals. I like the Royals. I really do. I like the Tigers, but I really like the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the difference right now between the Royals and the Tigers is one player, and that is Bobby Witt Jr.
Well, I think it's they got a year ahead on their young talent.
Yeah.
Their young talent's already been there for a year or two.
And
I think that's
Well, yeah,
and that's Witt.
yeah, and there's no way in hell you can compare Witt to Baez right now.
Yeah.
That's just not even fair.
And you still got Salvador Perez in the clubhouse, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna win.
Yeah. 2Ks, who you going with? You taking your Tigers?
I think this is maybe the toughest division to pick, just because I think there's 4 teams that could win this division, and it really would not shock me.
And the one that's left is the White Sox.
And I don't think any of these teams win over 90 games.
No.
I think they kind of beat up on each other. I'm going to go with the Tigers. I'm going to go with my fandom here. I like what they got with the pitching staff. Offensively, they got to get better. That's where I would give the nod to Kansas City, Cleveland right now. Offensively, that they got better.
Is it crazy, or isn't it crazy that if you win 82 games, you could win that division?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was kind of that way with this division and the National League Central last year. I mean, there was definitely not a wild card coming out of either one of those divisions last year, and it probably is going to be the same this year. Probably, maybe, but I'm with you, 2Ks. I'm riding the Tigers train on this one. It is cool to see Cleveland still be relevant, still be good after Tito retired. So to me, that was going to be the big question with that team, because aside from Ramirez, there really isn't any notable people there. You know what I mean? And then take out the Bieber injury, which is huge. So if you had Biebs winning the American League Cy Young, that was an early no cash. But it's gonna be interesting to see just how, because this division is going to be this close all year. I have a feeling.
I think so too.
And they're going to beat up on each other the entire time. So, and Detroit was the last undefeated team left, correct? Yeah.
And then went on to lose like 3 or 4 in a row. So,
well, what goes up must come down.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
let's be
and those games that they lost were to Oakland.
Yeah,
so
which is hard.
Yeah, I mean, they take care of business in that series against Oakland, like like any team in the MLB should. They'd be in really good shape right now. And not that they're. I mean, we're 2 weeks into it, so I really, you can't react on anything right now. I mean, we talked about it. Houston is in the bottom of the West right now. They're not going to stay there. Minnesota is, has a losing record right now. They're going to get, they're not healthy right now. They're going to get healthy. They're going to figure it out also. So it's you can't take a whole lot out of 2 weeks into the season.
No, and safe to say that no one's wild card's coming out of this division.
No.
Have to wait and see.
Probably not, because like I said in the beginning, I don't think any of these teams win 90 games. Yeah. So probably a good chance.
There's probably going to be 3 teams in the East that are right around 90 wins.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So speaking of the East, let's jump into it. I'll go first on this one. I'm taking the Orioles. It's hard to bet against them. I know that the Yankees are off to a very good start so far. The Juan Soto experience has been everything that all of us have expected and more, I think. But to me, it's still that pitching staff. I mean, yes, they are set up to outslug everybody, and they kind of have to at this point. Yeah. But at what point does that magic run out? What point does Stanton go out for an extended period of time, which he's known to do, or Judge, or which I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but it's just
my argument to that is, I think Judge has only got two bombs on the year. I mean, he's not hitting. They're still so. I mean, the pieces are falling together, and those bats will heat up. I think Stanton leads them. What is he? 4 home runs this year. So it's cold, so maybe ball's not flying right there in New York. I mean, it's only got to travel 200 feet there, but still.
Right. Well, who do you got coming out of the East there, Christian?
I will never count out the Tampa Bay Rays.
No, it's hard.
Never, ever.
It's hard to.
They're not my pick, I don't think, but I'll never count them out. I'm going to go with the Orioles. I like the Orioles. I like what they've done with their young talent.
Yeah.
I got Holiday. He finally got his first knock today. Yeah. Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're only going to get better.
And their pitching staff's tough.
That Corbin Burns trade was huge.
Yeah. Huge. So they got Bradish. They got Kramer. I don't know who the other ones are, but still Corbin Burns. I mean,
Corbin
that's
Burns
a
is
solid
huge.
3.
Grayson
Yeah.
Rodriguez has
Grayson
been really good
Rodriguez,
for him
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
He was, one of the most highly touted young pitchers in the game, and had kind of a rough season last year, but has been great in his first couple of starts this season. So
John Means, is he the 5th?
it might
He's
be
still there? I think so.
I think Baltimore wins the most games in all of baseball this year. I think they're to me, pending they stay healthy.
Yeah.
But especially pitching wise, but like Gunnar Henderson's gonna get it going. Adley Rushman, one of the best young players in the game. Jackson Holliday is going to get better. We are 5 games into this thing, and I understand he didn't have the debut in the first couple of games that everybody wanted to see, but he's gonna get it going. And I mean that lineup is just
then they
loaded.
got guys like that, Santander. That dude can freaking rake.
Colton Cowser been awesome. I mean, he's batting just under 500 right now.
Jordan Westberg at 3rd.
Yes.
And they're fast.
Yeah.
That team is legitimately fast.
And got probably 3 or 4 more guys in AAA right now that could be performing for a lot of these teams.
Who's at first? Mountcastle.
Yeah,
He's
Mountcastle
tough,
at
too.
first. They got the Mayo is still in AAA right now, and he did nothing but hit 30-some home runs last year in the minors. So I have a feeling we're going to see him soon. I think that they're the best team in baseball. The addition of Corbin Burns wasn't really talked about a whole lot in the offseason, but it was what they needed.
Yep.
And are they a pitcher away? Yeah, it'll get taken care of at the trade deadline. They'll figure that part of it out. So, I agree with it, not being able to count Tampa out, but Tampa's not starting the season off 16-0 this year.
Right.
And I just think over the longevity, I mean, we kind of saw it last year. They started off so hot, but it didn't take long, and then they came back to reality. And it's just and Tampa's just never going to be a baseball town. So it's like they play hard, they grind it, but I just, as far as it holding up throughout the season,
It's crazy because year in year out they're
good. They deserve it. I don't understand why it doesn't work.
One of the
for
best
them.
managers in baseball
Yes.
down there.
Yep. Hands down. Like they went from Madden to him, and you're like, oh well, Joe Madden's gone. That Magic's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
No,
They're better.
Yeah.
They're better. So we're all on. You and I are on Baltimore. You're on Tampa.
No, I picked
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Yeah, but I'm never gonna count out Tampa.
All right. Well, 2Ks. Who are your wild card winners?
I'm gonna go last year's World Series champions, Texas. And I'm gonna go Yankees.
The Yankees. 2K or C Hut.
I'm taking my 2 out of the East, Yankees and Tampa.
I've already.
But I'm not gonna count out Boston though either.
Oh,
Boston,
yeah, you can count out Boston.
I don't know.
You can count out Boston. I'm going Houston, and I got to go Tampa on this one too.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just absolutely despise Houston.
I do too.
But
I do too, but I'm going to say this now. They will not be back to the American League Championship this year.
I hope not. I'm sick of them.
This would be their 8th straight year in the championship game, and they are not making it back. They are not making it back.
Well,
Wouldn't hurt my feelings any.
it's hard to hit the ball when you're guessing instead of knowing what's coming.
Yeah. Well, 2Ks, let's cruise down to the National League Central. And just one more tidbit here on the American League East is they are the only division with all teams over 500.
We just saw that.
This is similar to the American League Central to me.
Yeah.
It's so deep. I'm gonna go Cubs here.
Ooh,
Just
take the
because
Cubbies.
I think that I don't. It's like my least favorite team in everybody in baseball, but they're 9-6 right now and haven't done anything offensively. You think of what Bellinger did last year. He's batting 100 right now. So he's going to get it going. Christopher Morale's going to get it going.
With Bellinger, that's kind of been the story of his career.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of teams were afraid to pay him.
Yeah.
Yes.
This offseason was there's just no consistency. It was a good season, then it was followed up by a couple not so good seasons. So
They went from MVP to hitting 200.
Yeah.
but this
for like 3 straight years.
But when you look at this division, like it's that Cincinnati team, what they have coming up is so exciting to watch. And then Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh did this shit last year. They did this in the first month and a half, and then
O'Neal Cruz
fell
is
back
healthy
down.
again.
O'Neal Cruz is healthy. That's a big deal. But I'm gonna go Cubs here. Just because they got some guys that have done it before, won a lot of games, and for some reason I always talk myself out of Milwaukee in this division. I don't know why, but I always do.
See, Hut, who you got?
I will not take the Cubs ever. Ever.
Northside hater.
Yeah. I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I like
Pittsburgh.
it. I like it.
Another young team, young talent. If they stay healthy, they should win that division, I think. A team that I am not going to sleep on, Cincinnati Reds. Last year was just a disaster.
Yeah.
They underperformed so much. But, I mean, it's a lot like my White Sox. They just sucked. But they kept everybody. They didn't ship everybody out. And
another year with De La Cruz.
De La Cruz,
so
Spencer Steer's a stud.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Hunter Green's going to be good. He already is good, but he gets tuned up every third start.
In this division, I'm leaning with you, 2Ks. I like the Cubs, but it's not like I'm jumping on the bandwagon. It's more of I think out of all these teams, they're going to be the most consistent. Sneakily, they have probably one of the best defensive infields in all of baseball. And their pitching staff is what really, really is holding them back. I mean, Kyle Hendricks is a million years old. Steele is out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So that was once I said that, I remembered back that he got hurt, and I think his first outing of the season. So I don't know what the severity is of that injury, but
I think it was his last start in spring training. He came up with it was like an elbow, and then he was warming up or getting ready for. It's a hamstring.
Yeah. So that one I mean, obviously it's going to take some time, but at least it's not an arm injury.
Yeah. With the plethora of elbow injuries and shit going down, lately, it's when it comes towards I have a feeling the trade deadline isn't going to be where all the moves are made. I think it's going to be like a month or so ahead, just because of the need for pitching, because all of these guys are going out. Knock on wood, that it's all done. It's all done, because the last thing you want is someone on your team, your stud, your ace, like Spencer Strider to go down.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
Speaking of,
just terrible.
What's the diagnosis on that? Is he done?
Yeah. Yeah, he went under the knife Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah, his season is officially done, which sucks.
Gives him more time the offseason to work on those D1 quads, man.
Yeah. Well, it's his arm, it's his elbow that's messed up. So every day still his leg day.
Yeah.
So
you can tell that, dude.
Yeah. All right, see NL East. Who you got?
NL East, Braves. Taking the Braves. I like the Phillies, but I think Braves are most talented team in baseball.
I'm with you on this one. The only thing that scares me about Philadelphia is they're 8-8 right now. Braves are only 9-5, 9-6. So it's not like any of these top three, and the Mets are just garbage.
Yep.
The Nats are garbage. The Marlins, I think, is kind of a surprise.
Yes.
3 wins.
Yes.
Especially considering what they did last year.
I think I wouldn't not be surprised if Jazz and Luis Arias.
Arias.
Arias. If they're still struggling, if they're both moved.
Yeah,
that's just typical Miami. Can't hold on to somebody.
Yeah, and then speaking of struggling, I mean, it seems like Bryce Harper's only had one good game this whole entire, which
he already hit the 3 home runs.
Yeah, and there was rumors leading up to that when he took that topple into the bullpen or the camera well to get that he was actually dinged up and hurt. Now he sat out the next game, but after that he was right back.
I like him playing first.
I do too.
So he's not so reckless out there in the outfield.
I just fucking love everything about Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Like, he's just one of my favorites in the game. Just the way he plays, he's a grinder. He's just.
But that's what scares me is they're treading water, and he is not even close to hot yet.
But this is what the Phillies do all the time though. Is they start slow, they play. Everybody's kind of questioning them at the halfway point, and then all of a sudden at post deadline, they get hotter than anybody, and they go in the playoffs, and they're the scary team that nobody wants to face.
Probably my favorite player in the league right now is Trey Turner.
I love
that dude.
You and 2Ks.
Yeah.
You and 2Ks. With 2Ks, are you making it a clean sweep with Atlanta?
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yeah. That lineup is just loaded.
Yep.
I mean, top to bottom. Whereas there's not a hole. There's four guys on that team that could be considered for the MVP.
Yeah, Ozuna right now, smashing.
Yes.
Leads
Yes.
the league in home runs.
And are we all three in agreement that the Dodgers are winning the West?
I don't want them to.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
right there with
Arizona
you.
take that.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona's my favorite team in the West, but with the talent that Dodgers have that they bought,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
I feel the same way. I don't think there's
Well,
any way the Dodgers lose that division.
I'm just happy Shohei's interpreter got him this huge contract.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
if Pete Rose only had an interpreter, right?
if Pete Rose had an interpreter.
So who, C-Hut, who's winning your wild cards out of here?
Wild card, I'm going to take Philadelphia, and I'm going to go to Arizona.
I can't argue either one. Man, I'm with you with the Phils, and it's a toss up between the Dodgers and the Buccos for me.
So you're taking Arizona to win the West?
No, Dodgers are winning the West.
Then you just said there's your wild card, dude.
No, I said the Dodgers are winning the West, and I'm trying to decide between
Oh.
the Pirates and the Diamondbacks for my.
I thought you
my
said
last-
Dodgers.
No. If I did, I'm sorry, but
Play it back.
check the tape.
Yeah.
Give me the Buccos. Give me the
I like
Buccos.
that. Yeah, I just think that the West, now I think about, I think the NL West, I think they're just going to beat each other up. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if one of their records gets through.
Whereas the Central is going to be a pillow fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Slap the ass the hardest.
I think I honestly think the smart money is on Arizona, but my gut's telling me Pittsburgh.
I like Arizona a lot.
I think this is the year that they break through and actually make it to the playoffs. 2Ks, who you got?
Oh, I'm gonna go for sure Philly, and I'm gonna go Milwaukee.
Oh, going a different
Milwaukee's
route.
Like that.
Christian Yelich has been awesome. I know he's been out the last couple of days because he got back tightness or something like that. Hopefully nothing serious. I've always been a huge Yelich fan.
Dude, still good.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee here. I think and like I said earlier, I never can talk myself into giving them any credit, but then they always make the
Yep.
playoffs or always have a really good season. So I'm gonna take them this year for a
I
while.
just don't like them because their pitching staff's not as deep.
No.
Bullpen or rotation.
And Christian Yelich doesn't have to be the MVP Christian Yelich. He just needs to be a 25 to 30 home run guy for that team.
Mm-hmm. Driving around 90 plus.
Yeah.
Was it the Contreras kid?
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Mhm.
He is a stud.
I wholeheartedly agree. So C-Hut, since you're the guest, we're gonna put you on the spot. World Series matchup, who wins how many games?
Ooh. Boy. I'm going Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Atlanta and Texas.
Ooh. Who wins how many games?
I'm taking Atlanta in 6.
Okay, I like it. 2Ks?
I'm going Baltimore and the Dodgers,
Baltimore.
and I'm gonna go with my heart instead of my brain. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go
I'd
Baltimore.
love to see Baltimore win.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore in 6.
I just don't think they're there yet.
I'm also riding the Orioles train, and I'm gonna go Braves. Kind of mixing you guys up here a little bit, but I'm also I'm taking the Orioles in 7. I think it goes 7, just because of the key linchpin here with the Orioles is not the depth, is not the talent. It's now with the new owner.
Mhm.
Are they going to be aggressive at the trade deadline?
Mhm.
Are they going to fill needs that they
Mhm.
are going to have?
Yeah.
And I think with the old regime,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Did you see the new guys partying out with the fans at the bar opening day. Like that's pretty sweet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I love them is that they're so deep in the minors that they can go and they can make some major moves, and they're not gonna hurt themselves in the future because these kids are gonna be around for a long time.
Right.
I mean, you have arguably the best catcher of the future, and Adley Rutschman as your catcher there, who's going to play catcher for many years, and then they'll move him to first base, and he'll play there. He's going to be like a Joe Mauer. And then you have Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holiday and the list,
20 years old,
Hauser, and the list goes on of all these kids that you can just keep on throwing out there. To me, it's pitching. Can they pitch the ball? And come deadline time, you have to be willing to move some of these guys to add a pitcher.
Yeah, I think the rotations, stay healthy. The rotation is good. It'd be bullpen. You gotta make bullpen moves.
And I think too that was one of the Achilles heels last year is their closer went down. And I think when it came down to it, that reared its ugly head. And I'm not saying that's why, because I mean, hell, they led the league in wins last year. Let's remember that. And Machado just got into one. God, when he's on, his swing is so nice. But yeah, I have a feeling with this new ownership, they're gonna make a splash year one, just to be like, hey, here's my dick on the table. Who's gonna suck it first? Because I've got the best farm system in baseball. 90% of these guys will be starting for your team already. They haven't even sniffed the big league field yet. So,
and that's for me. Like as a Tigers fan, we're not gonna compete for. Maybe we can make the playoffs. Maybe we can win that, what I think is the worst division in baseball. Maybe we can win that division and get in. But is that as good as, because the Tigers have a really good bullpen. So we talk about the O's needing to add some bullpen arms. The Tigers have a deep bullpen, and they would be okay with getting rid of one or two of those guys. I would be okay with it. And what the Tigers need is they need more bats. I want to give me a bat from the O's, and we'll give you, a Chafin or a Shelby Miller or a pitcher like that. Who's, I mean, I guess out of all the guys in the bullpen that I would say the Tigers just untouchable, it's probably Foley.
Yeah.
All right. So we've done all that. So let's move to our player predictions here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see here. So one of the things I hate about these betting apps is when you close them, you have to log back in.
Yeah.
Like we said, smart people, get on it. Let's start off with some of the kind of, I guess you could say, non-exciting ones. And since we started with, we'll just go American League, National League for each one of these, okay? Manager of the Year. 2Ks, who you got? What the... How is Alex Cora the second favorite to win the...
I'm telling you, I mean, you're I've never heard a fan base that's so hard on their own team, and don't really have the right to be, in my opinion. Like, cause it's not like you guys have been as bad as the Tigers or as bad as what the White Sox are right now. And White Sox are going through right now. Well, I can remember 2 years ago we were in the thick of it. So it's like,
but if you hear me out, AJ Hinch is the best odds to win.
Yeah, I like that.
And then Cora, and this is why it jumped out at me. I'm not discounting what Cora did. I just think there's guys that are below him I think deserve to be higher. Stephen Vogt for Cleveland, Quattro for Kansas City, Kevin Cash, and then you would put Alex Cora above Aaron Boone right now. But are you riding the AJ Hinch train, 2Ks?
No, and I'm not. I mean, I think you can make a really good argument for him, especially if they win that division, like I'm predicting to happen. But I said earlier, I think that the Orioles are going to have the best record in baseball, and if they have that over the Dodgers, then Brandon Hyde, to me, that's where I'm going with mine. I'm going to go Brandon Hyde there.
Brandon Hyde is plus 1,000, so
I'd take that.
Get on it now.
Yeah,
get on it now. C-Hut, who you got?
I'm probably going to go with Hyde, but again, if Tampa Bay weasels their way into the playoffs, how can you not say Kevin Cash is not manager of the year? Year in, year out, they perform
with a very underpaid roster.
Yes,
I'm gonna dick ride and go with AJ Hinch. I think this Tigers team is.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
I think they're going to be better than a lot of folks think.
I like that Quattro too. I think he's.
And I think AJ Hinch is the best guy for the job for the Tigers right now. I say there's times where I think he overthinks things, but I think that's very easy to do when you have a very mediocre lineup.
Yeah.
You're constantly trying to go with the hot hand, put things together, make things happen. He doesn't have a lineup that he can like what Hyde has, where you can throw those 9 guys in there on a daily basis and you know what you're going to get. He doesn't have that, so he's got to go with his gut and go with a lot of different feelings and matchups and play all that.
Feel the pain, buddy. And they're done that.
Well, let's switch over to National League. 2Ks, who do you got for the National League?
I got to open up my... Read off the names on there.
Okay.
I'll go first. Derek Shelton.
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Derek Shelton's plus 700. Craig Counsell at plus 500. David Bell. Pat Murphy for the Brewers. Then Derek Shelton. Torey Lovullo for Arizona. Rob Thompson for Philly. Dave Roberts for the Dodgers.
So how I look at it is
Bud Black is a mere plus 6,000.
if Pittsburgh makes playoffs, come from where they were last year,
Right.
how can you not say that's our guy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Now, mind you, Craig Counsell is the highest paid manager in baseball history.
Yeah, I don't have...
Notre Dame alum, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't have Pirates winning that division or getting one of those wild card spots. So I'm going to go Counsell since I picked the Cubs to win that division.
I'm with you there.
Boy,
And-
that must just sting Brewers fans that he's there.
All right, so let's go to comeback player of the year in the American League. I will go first since I haven't went first here in a while. Just to kind of sprinkle in some would you knows. Mike Trout leads us at plus 400.
Yep.
Tyler O'Neill, Garrett Crochet, Logan O'Hoppe, Byron Buxton, Vladdy Jr. is another one. Carlos Rodon, Casey Mize is plus 1100. Not sure what Giancarlo Stanton's coming back from, but he's on here. Javi Baez plus 3,500. But I'm going to be a homer on this one. I'm really liking what Tyler O'Neill has been doing. My only question with him is, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
And same with Mike Trout.
Yeah.
The top 2 guys here, can they stay healthy?
Yeah.
And Byron Buxton. I mean, if Buxton could stay healthy, he's a Hall of Famer. He's got the same tools as Mike Trout does, but he
Can't hit for average.
No.
Can hit for power.
But his big thing is, can he play more than like 70 games a
Yep.
year? But I'm going Tyler O'Neill plus 420. C-Hut, who you got?
So Mike Trout stays healthy, taking him. But if he does not, Garrett Crochet is leading the league in strikeouts right now.
Mhm.
I'm going to take him. I love my White Sox. He's been dealing. He's a piece.
First game of the
Yeah.
season against Tigers was
Yeah.
awesome. He takes the loss in a 1-0
Yeah.
ball game, but
He's-
pitched. I mean, he was
He's
awesome.
Nasty.
2Ks, who you riding?
I'm going Trout. I mean,
Yeah.
look, a couple years ago, he was the best player in baseball. Then Shohei Ohtani came onto the scene, and now
Yeah.
everybody talks about him. And we've just kind of forgotten about Trout, which is sad, but because it's injuries and he just hasn't been on the field. But if that guy is healthy, he's still a top 3-4 player in the game. So as long as he's out there playing every day.
And if he can get guys on base in front of him,
Yes.
Mhm.
He's got 6 home runs, 8 RBIs right
Yeah.
now.
which is ridiculous.
8 RBIs on six knocks.
I think I saw a stat for his last 20 home runs, it's acquired 24 RBIs.
Jeez.
Now, mind you, even some of those, well, obviously a lot of them were last year with at least some help around him. But let's move to the National League comeback player of the year. 2Ks.
It's easy.
Who is it?
O'Neal Cruz.
Plus 300 leaderboard.
We could be talking about this guy as an MVP.
Yeah.
A dark horse MVP winner. So if he's healthy, I mean, all the hoopla last year about Ellie De La Cruz, deservingly so.
Yeah.
This is the same version, and I think maybe
OG Cruz.
possibility.
Well, he
Cruz
has
is maybe
he had
better.
that same height the year
Yeah.
before. He just got hurt.
Mhm.
Hurt last year.
And they're damn near the same player.
Yeah.
Same size.
Same size, same speed,
Mhm.
same.
Can both throw the ball 98 miles an hour across the diamond and hit the ball over 98 miles an hour. The only one that I would even consider besides him is Edwin Diaz, but that Mets team's
Yeah,
He's not going to have a whole lot of
not gonna
save
have the
opportunities.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yep.
no that is just bad.
One I would like to see, just because I've always been just kind of a fan of this guy, is Rhys Hoskins.
Yep.
Playing with the Brewers now.
He's plus 750.
Yeah.
If you want to ride Chris Bryant, which I highly doubt anyone is, plus 15.
I like Chris Bryant.
I do too, but he sucks.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it with him. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I was listening to Baseball is Dead, and Jay Haywood ran a stat concerning, since the Cubs traded Bryant and Baez, or did not sign Baez, how bad those two have been. And Cubs fans were leaving in droves because they were breaking up a quote unquote dynasty. And hell, you can add Rizzo into that too, because Rizzo's been better than the other two.
I
but
know
not
Rizzo's
by
the
much.
one that really hit the Cubs fans in the heart.
Yeah, but he hasn't done much of anything either. So maybe that Cubs brass over there knows a little bit more than what we're giving them credit for.
Dark horse guy worth talking about. I mean, if the Braves are going to make it to the World Series, and with the huge injury to Strider, Chris Sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was third.
Can he
plus
can he stay healthy, and can he make 20 plus starts?
I just hope they don't have jerseys that he doesn't like. Stash them all up.
All right, so we've done that one. We've done that one. Let's go Rookie of the Year. Starting off in the American League. I think I'm going a different route than I have a feeling 2Ks is. I'm going Wyatt Langford. And he's the third. He's the third favorite here at plus 400.
Who's on that list?
Evan Carter.
Evan Carter.
Colton Cowser. Langford, Jackson Holiday, Rafaela for the Red Sox, Colt Keith for the Tigers, Parker Meadow for the Tigers. Half of these guys don't even have pictures on here. But and if you want to take a real long shot, the guy who hasn't even made the team yet, Kerstead, is plus 6,500.
Yeah, he's another one.
And
He's fading out down there.
Mm-hmm.
so I'm buying. I think even though Langford didn't have the best start to the season, I think him starting the season with the big club is going to make a big difference. So that's who I'm going with. How about you, C-Hut?
I'm going to piggyback on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I like Jackson Holiday. I think he's going to be a good player. But I don't think he's going to.
Just doesn't, Wyatt Langford had 3 seasons in college ball, and we're talking about Holiday at 20 years old.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, just
Is even that?
Yeah,
he's
just turned 20. Just turned 20. Yep.
He's like married.
Like
too.
in February.
Yeah. Yeah, so just hasn't seen the at bats yet, and to where Langford is just like, you play all those games in the SEC and for college baseball, and he's seen a lot of really good pitchings where I think he's more equipped for this level. But saying that now, I'm gonna go Jackson Holiday. I'm gonna switch it up,
All right.
and
2 total bases.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna go Jackson Holiday because of we're super early into the season yet. I thought that when he started in AAA, I thought it was going to be a month or two before we would see him.
Yeah.
It's 10 games. We're already seeing him up here. Things are going to get better. And this is a lot better lineup than that Texas lineup offensively. He's going to have a lot of protection in that lineup. Right now he's batting 8, 9. I think as the year goes on, we're going to see him work up into that top half. So he's going to be batting where he's going to be on base a lot, and these other guys swinging behind him. He's going to steal a lot of bases, and as long as he gets that average up around the 300s, he's going to hit a lot of doubles.
Oh yeah,
and he's going to probably he's going to be in the top, 5, 6 in stolen bases also in the American League. So I'm going Holiday.
I think just looking at this list, the number 1 with Evan Carter and obviously number 3 Wyatt Langford. Add to that lineup Josh Young.
Yeah.
From last year.
Yeah.
Texas is a very young team as well. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about them in that aspect. So yes, their pitching staff's a little older. I get that, but kudos to their draft department over there. I love what they're doing, and they're hitting some of these draft picks out of the park. NL Rookie of the Year. I think this is going to be a fairly easy one. We've got Yamamoto, Jackson Churio, Imanaga, Jackson Merrill, Joe Hung Lee, Michael Bush. Trying to remember what Dallas Braden calls Joe Hung Lee. Oh fuck! But his grandpa or dad played in the league and had some ridiculous nickname. But Yamamoto, in my opinion, is going to run away with this one unfairly because he's not a rookie age, but this is his rookie season.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys' thoughts?
I'm going Jackson Churio.
I like it.
That's what I'm taking too.
Everything I've seen out of him so far, I just love. I think he's very, very similar to Jackson Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, doesn't have the time. We haven't seen him enough, but I think as the season goes on, he's going to be kind of similar to like Corbin Carroll from last year, where Corbin Carroll did it last year in the first couple months, and you're like, well, eventually these pitchers are going to figure him out. He'll start to fall back, and he maybe went through like a month of some struggles and then figured it out again. And I just think that's where baseball's going at now, where these young kids coming in competing for Rookie of the Year, and before they know it, it's not just Rookie of the Year they're competing
MVP.
for. It's MVP. I mean, Corbin Carroll was he was in the running for the MVP last year for a lot of that season.
Yep.
And it's not for just fucking, some of these guys just playing out of their mind. What Acuna Jr. does last year. Are numbers like that going to be replicated year in, year out? No.
Probably.
A lot of normal seasons.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll has a very, very good bid for the MVP last year.
And I think with the way baseball's going, the more all of these young kids are just athletic. And athleticism does not go into a slump for long. Yes, you can go into a hitting slump, but some part of your game, whether it's defensive or running the bases or making a throw, athleticism does not stay in a funk for long.
And when you start handing out awards for MVPs and for Rookie of the Years and all that, to me, I look at the position player over the pitcher. I mean, you have a pitcher in Yamamoto who, he affects the game every 5 days, and to where you're looking at a guy like Churio, that's a guy that's going to be playing as long as he's healthy. He's going to be playing 150 plus games on the season. So obviously a lot more he has to bring to the table for an award.
All right, let's go to, speaking of pitching, let's go to the American League Cy Young. C-Hut, who you got for here?
I'm going to take Corbin Burns.
He is the leader in the clubhouse at plus 550.
Yeah, take Corbin Burns.
I'm riding Scooble on this one, plus 600, and I got prior to the I want to say I locked this in at like plus 850 somewhere in there before he made his first start. So that's where I'm at with that. 2Ks. Are you riding the Scooble train?
I'm riding the Scooble train. Yeah.
I like Scooble. I agree with that. But is he going to have the wins that's going to put him over the top?
Yeah. And one of the things that Scooble misses bats more than anybody. So it's pitch count for me. That hurts him too in a lot of ways, because a lot of his games where he's really good, he gets you 5-6 innings because his pitch count is so high because he misses so many bats, to where a guy like Corbin Burns, who pitches to more contact, doesn't have the strikeout numbers, maybe that a Scooble will have at the end of the season. But and then also with Corbin Burns is, if things play out the way I'm predicting, he's going to have a lot of wins, a lot of, so it's hard to go there. But I'm going Scooble. That's going to be
that's the only reason why I'm taking Burns over Scooble, because of the wins. I think he's going to have close, maybe 20. Should.
I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. A lot. Well, National League, see who you got. Leader in the clubhouse is Zach Wheeler, followed by Zach Gallen, Freddie Peralta, Tyler Glasnow, Logan Webb, and Yamamoto.
I love Tyler Glasnow. Love, even when he was with Tampa. I'm going to take him.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
plus 850.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's kind of like the forgotten guy in this whole Dodgers, smorgasbord of the offseason.
Again, he's gonna have a lot of wins.
Yeah, but he has to stay healthy.
Yep.
And he was one of my favorite pitchers to watch when he was with Tampa.
Dude's so nasty.
Oh yes. And now he's in the National League, so we'll see how that kind of pans out. And I think ultimately being out of the AL East is going to help him a lot.
Yeah.
Where are you riding 2Ks?
I really like the Glasnow pick. That's probably where I'm going to go, but I'm not going to pick with you guys. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go Zach Gallen. Just consistent.
Yep.
He's so consistent. Yeah, I'm going Zach Gallen here.
All right, comes down to the meat and potatoes, the big one. The big one, the MVP. American League MVP. I'll start it off. Man, this one's tough.
This one is very tough.
I got Soto at plus 300. Bobby Witt Jr. at plus 7. Aaron Judge 850. Trout even 1,000. Yordan Alvarez 1,400. Corey Seager 18. I want to take Bobby Witt Jr. so bad. But I don't know if the Royals are going to have enough wins for him to actually win that award. And it's going to kill me to say this, but give me Soto. Yes, a Red Sox fan is taking a Yankee to win. Give me Soto. It's a walk year for him. He's been the start he's been off to. You really can't argue. But if Bobby Witt Jr. does not win this one, he will win one in the next 3 years.
Is Gunnar Henderson even on that list?
Yeah, he's down.
Plus 1,800.
Plus 1,800, yep.
Right in between Rutschman and J-Rod. Another sneaky one would be Kyle Tucker.
I took Bobby Witt last week in a parlay for it was like 3 different awards, and I got Bobby Witt at plus 1,200 last week, and he's down to now at plus 700.
Telling you, the kids.
If I was starting a Major League Baseball team and I had the pick of anybody out there to start my franchise with, I think there's a very good argument Bobby Witt.
Hands down.
That being said, I'm going Juan Soto. He's got so much on the line. He's your potential next Ohtani contract. After this year, and a guy like that, like left-handed stick, now playing in that Yankee Stadium, like he ought to hit so many home runs there, especially as it starts to heat up.
I think one thing that, and this is going to sound completely asinine, is he's almost too disciplined.
Well, I've said it for years.
Too disciplined.
I thought that was one of the major problems, and it's hard to say that that's a bad thing, but I thought that was one of the major problems with him last year with the Padres, where they needed him to be a bopper. They didn't need. They had other guys that could play table setter.
Yeah.
They didn't need him doing that to where. And I think we're only 2 weeks into this year, but he hasn't taken as many walks. He's still taking his walks because he's got a better eye than probably anybody in baseball. But I feel like he's doing a lot more free swinging. And in a stadium like that, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's kind of the old Joey Votto type thing. Joey Votto had one of the biggest contracts in Reds history, and the Reds fans were like, "For what? To walk?"
Yeah. Votto, God, that guy was so good.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty. He signed a minor league deal with the Blue Jays, but I don't think he made it.
No, he was at one of the games a couple weeks ago, just in the stands.
His Instagram posts prior to them signing him were awesome. Seahad, who you going with, brother?
So, I think it would be freaking awesome for Mike Trout to win it. That's who I'm rooting for. That's who I want to win it. But like I said earlier, he's got 6 home runs with 8 RBIs. Yeah. He's going to hit 40 with 52 RBIs this year.
That would be something.
And I would love for him to do it just so I could be like, hey, Shohei was here, but I was still the man.
Yeah.
I'm still the guy. Because to me, he's still the best player in baseball when he's healthy.
Yes. And every part of me wants him, and I'm sure every baseball fan wants him to be. Yeah. Which I'm not saying.
Now there's an argument about how many games he's missed. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, like that guy.
Well, that, and if you take his, like, there's him actually getting to 3,000 hits is almost impossible.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the baseball version of Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Like MVP, one of the best players in the league, gets injured, can't stay healthy. He's not a Hall of Famer because of it.
I think if Trout hung him up today, he walks into the Hall of Fame.
You think so?
I do.
I think he does, and I think I say that because if you dominate your sport, or like you're the best player in baseball, which he was for a 5-6 year stretch,
His was a decade, 2K.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's hard to,
Yeah.
because even like I'm a diehard Tigers fan. Obviously, I love Miguel Cabrera. You look at the year that Miguel Cabrera had the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Mike Trout has better numbers.
Yeah.
Like
But
if you're just going numbers and WAR or stuff like that, if you want to really get nerdy into it,
The fact
Trout
that he
had
won the
better
Triple
numbers.
Crown won him the
yeah,
MVP.
absolutely. We hadn't seen it in years, and that was why.
A
And
guy I'm not counting out though is Corey Seager. I like him, but Soto playing in that park, dude, he's gonna hit 50 plus.
Pains me to say it, but yes.
and Soto's just a guy like I feel like clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Back against the wall, and that's kind of where he's at this year. Like
And
he
he
has
has-
the potential to have probably not Ohtani numbers, but he's going to be somewhere in between.
And that dude's got so much cover around him too, where they're gonna have to throw him strikes.
Yeah. And so yeah,
Do you want to get burned by him? Or you want to get burned for Judge or Stanton or
Kansas
Well,
City
they got
Royals.
Volpe's been
LeMahieu's still there too, isn't he?
mhm. Yeah, the team's. I mean, that lineup is loaded.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kansas City Royals figured out win enough games so Bobby Witt Jr.
Yep.
can win the MVP. That's the moral of this story. All right, well, I think that's all of the awards.
National League MVP.
Oh yep, National League. I clicked on it and then I it's still up. We got Mookie Betts atop this list. Acuna, Tatis, Freddie, Shohei, Matt Olson.
Matt Olson.
Bryce Harper, Alonso. Then it just kind of gets muddy from down here.
Corbin Carroll's not even on that.
He's at plus 3,000.
Wow. I would take
I
that,
mean, as
dude.
far as the numbers, that's
Yeah,
Was that FanDuel or DraftKings?
FanDuel. So 2Ks, who you rolling with on this one? You and I talked about this last night. I had one name in mind before that, and I think you swayed me on this last night.
I mean, when I'm just looking at the numbers here and I just see an eye popper at 1,400, at plus 1,400.
Yeah.
Like if as long as nothing goes south with this, whole investigation, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I mean, plus 1,400. I just think
Seems
that's just a.
Seems like easy money.
Mhm.
It really does. And because of that fact, I absolutely love Ronald Acuna Jr. Mookie Betts is playing out of his mind right now.
Mhm.
I'm just curious to see going down, once the weather gets warm. Yes, he's coming from an outfield spot to an infield spot, but it's a very demanding infield spot. How much is that going to kind of beat up the body a little bit? It's not like he was playing center field.
He's not going to have the RBI numbers that
Yeah.
Freeman and Ohtani get by batting behind him.
Yeah.
And Mookie's not the base stealer, that he was once upon a time. Still not saying that he can't do it, but he's not going to be like top 10 in the league, to where if you're a leadoff batter or more of that table setter in a lineup, you better be a guy that steals 40, 50 bases if you want to be in the MVP number. That's why Acuna was.
Yep.
That's why I'm taking Acuna.
Acuna.
Yep.
Like I said, I love every part of his game.
Yeah.
Acuna? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I mean,
Hits for average, power, great in the field, great
When
arm.
I go back to
I think Corbin Carroll's a year or two away from being in this conversation every single year.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like going back to one that conversation of who can you start your team with, and I say it's hard not to have Bobby Witt. If I'm starting my franchise, I'm starting it with Acuna. I mean, it's hard to argue Witt, but I'm going Acuna at this point right now.
Well, it's just for the fact that Acuna has done it for so long.
Yeah, and he's what, 24?
Yeah, and he's already coming back from an ACL.
Mm-hmm.
So his first year post ACL, he goes bananas.
Yeah.
And it's not like that lineup got it any worse.
Yeah. Matt Olson's a sleeper on that too. I like that, dude.
Matt Olson led the league in
And home runs.
led the league in home runs, and I think finished fourth in the MVP voting last year, which is absolutely ridiculous. And hit close to 300.
Yeah.
And hit close to 300.
I like the plus 5,500 too. If you really want to go dark horse, going all the way back down, going down to O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
5,500.
guy catches lightning in a bottle and
yeah.
hits 30 home runs this year. He's gonna have a ton of base steals.
Well, Christian brought up Marcelo Zuna.
Yeah, Marcelo Zuna, he's a sleeper.
12,000.
12,000.
Yeah.
Shoot, he's leading the league in bombs and RBIs right now. Put $1 on that.
That like when this, I would just scrolling through the list here of all these National League guys, and it's pretty crazy how deep the National League is
Yeah.
with talent.
Trey
And, like,
Turner at
You
5,500.
start getting down there a ways, and there's a lot of guys that you can really make an argument for.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, we're all and rightfully so. The Dodgers kind of stole the offseason by spending over $1 billion. Let's be honest. But
Is it time to put a salary cap on baseball?
even if they did with that Shohei contract, it really wouldn't have mattered.
Because they're able to.
When dude's only getting $2 million a year for 10 years, and then everything's backloaded.
The rest is going to his interpreter.
Yeah. That guy right there is the next millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you apply?
Right?
Oh, shit.
I can learn
I can get some.
Japanese for
Grab some hooked on phonics and
Duolingo, man.
Some babble. All right. Well, is there anything else? Anything else we really need to touch on here, guys? We've done all of our picks. I kind of wanted to do like a little state of our team to kind of wrap things up. My Red Sox got off to a great start. They traditionally play absolutely. My team sucks just as much as yours do.
Shut up.
Yes, mine just has just like 4 more wins.
7.
Okay,
We have 2.
But then, which traditionally they don't play well on the West Coast, so I was very okay. Maybe this team isn't going to be a 500 ball club all year.
But it pisses me off so bad. Like so obviously listening to other baseball podcasts, and I listen to fucking Carabas bitching and whining all the time about the Red Sox, and I'm like, fuck. How many fucking World Series you have in the time? I mean, like, to me, when you win a World Series, like, that buys you 10 years where you can just kind of, fuck, be shitty, whatever.
So not 20 though, because we're right at the edge there for the White Sox.
Yeah, well, we go back to fucking 84. So
well, before that we went
I haven't got one
to 06
time.
Yeah, 1906.
So, as a Tigers fan, I don't even have one in my lifetime, and you guys can at least say that you've been able to celebrate a World Series. So, I don't want to fucking hear about it. So Boston, look, they have some struggles, and obviously they're not ready to play with the Baltimores of the world and with the Yankees right now, and probably with Tampa.
No.
I see them probably finishing like fourth in that division. Toronto's really good too, so it wouldn't surprise me if they slide all the way to 5th. But it's not like they're in terrible shape. Like, if you look at what the White Sox got going on right now, they're where the Tigers were.
Just 2 years ago, we were young and promising. Look out for these guys.
Yeah.
And then we get rid of Dylan Cease.
We were all singing those praises.
Yeah.
All of us. And I honestly think out of the 3 of us, the Tigers have the most promise out of all 3 teams.
I agree.
Yeah, right now. Yeah,
I agree. The White Sox farm system's not very good right now.
It's been, I mean, with the Tigers, it's been ever since the hire of Scott Harris and getting him and him pulling the strings and making decisions there. And he hasn't done anything over the top. I still think that they're a little bit away from that, making that where they want to start spending money on things. I think this next offseason is when you'll start to see them get a little bit more aggressive with it.
I think as the year goes on, you watch, talks about White Sox going to Nashville are going to heat up.
You think so?
I think so. There's that whole thing about them moving downtown, but there's no way. It would be such a mess downtown Chicago if they built the stadium down there.
Yeah, especially with 2 teams down there, it's already a fucking shit show.
Yeah. You would literally, there wouldn't be place for parking. You would literally have to get on the train, go right to the stadium. There's no parking.
And you can handle White Sox fans and Cubs fans together for, you can't handle it, but you can handle it when it's only for, a few games of the season. But put them in there together every single, every week, that's probably not a good thing.
Well, we have a comment from Facebook. This is Mrs. 2Ks. Nolan would like to join the podcast since Christian got the call. He thinks there's space for an extra seat. Bring him on.
You can't be sitting in the 4th quarter on the sidelines during his AYSO soccer game if he wants to be on here, though. Come on.
Well, speaking of soccer, it was not a good day for the Kaler clan. I think out of the 3 kids, we lost yesterday 17-1.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Kaler kids were spending some time outside working on their soccer skills today.
Well, beautiful day too, dude.
Yeah.
Beautiful day to it. And, well, think about it this way, 2Ks. It's only up from here. It's only up from here.
Yeah.
It's first game of the season, dude. How many practices have they had? Like 4?
Yeah.
So then again, the other team probably only had 4 too. So.
Yeah, we're not a whole lot to take off.
I think it was coaching, but that's just U6 soccer, man. They got to strategize better.
Well, that normally
I'm
is
kidding.
that normally is what it is around here, though. I mean, that's kind of it's always the coaching, right?
Yeah.
Stupid coaches.
Yeah.
No, with that age group, it's pretty easy. Just put some people in there, put a kid in the goal, and they just run around and
Hey, beehive.
Yeah.
You got beehive defense. I see both teams were good at that yesterday.
If you have one good player, like
he'll dominate.
that team's gonna dominate. Yep.
But every soccer parent has lived through it.
Yeah.
The only real reason for worry is if it's your kid that falls and everyone else falls on top of them because
They're still gonna start kicking away. Booted.
At least with and I'm not a big soccer fan, never have been, but at least with watching kids play soccer there's some excitement.
Yeah.
I love baseball, but those first few years of watching your kids play
tough
baseball, softball, especially when they get off the pitching machine and either team can throw a strike.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of walking. That gets hard to watch.
Yeah,
London's finally, she's getting to that age now where she doesn't want to walk anymore. She gets mad when she walks. She wants to hit, and that's when it starts to get fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with that comes not being afraid of the ball, not being afraid of pitching. So yeah, that's when it starts to get exciting. That's when because I remember growing up, everyone's like, hey, you want to ump softball? No. No. Little League softball? Absolutely not. I barely want to do it for baseball. So count me out of that one. Count me out of that one. Well, 2K crew, I want to thank you all for joining us. Christian, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for the invite, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Like I said, we'll have to bring you back on more consistently. Because when I do the show by myself, it's kind of boring. 2Ks comes on, it's like a really nice. We've got a good vibe, and
3's always the best.
Yeah, and
easy with 3.
We just kind of picked up where we left off with you, so it's always a pleasure. And the one key about being a guest on a podcast is never wait to jump in. Never hesitate, just do it, because you kind of force the action and you kind of make everyone else vibe with you. So
I'm just waiting for the call from Joe Rogan to come on his.
well, you got to start doing some wild shit.
Yeah, get my name out there.
Yeah, you could be like do something weird coaching.
Figure something out.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Email the podcast and I'll get you Christian's contact info. But everyone have a great week. Enjoy the weather. It should be fantastic. And as always, Jim Rohn, we're coming for you.